Got a little pinstripes on there too. I don't know if you see them.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I see it.
Okay.
I see it.
All right, fellas, you are now streaming live on Facebook.
We live now?
We live.
All right. All right. Welcome, Facebook world, to another fine edition of Fathers and Finance. I am one of your hosts, Trevor Evans, along with Mr. Marcus Hunt, Isaac Crumley, and we have a special host on tonight. My main man from the 404.
What's
No,
that?
405, 40. Clear code.
The 225.
225. Where's that at?
Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Baton Rouge, Louisiana. My man, Mr. Edward Walker. Mr. Edward Walker. How you doing, Edward?
Oh, I'm doing great, Trevor, man. Thank y'all for having me. It's great to be here, man. Yeah, y'all look great. Man, I need to, y'all got me wanting to go and step my wardrobe game up a little bit.
You better step it up. You amongst men, young stuff.
Yeah.
Brother,
so
Brother
tonight's
Edward,
topic
Brother
is,
Edward.
Tonight's topic, I'm sorry, Isaac.
No, I was just gonna say, I took my daughter to, when I took my daughter to grad school, I had to go through Baton Rouge, Louisiana on the way to take her to UT. Baton Rouge, Louisiana is the only place where my eyebrows were sweating, brother. I sweat all over my body before, but it was so humid, so humid. I was like, why are my eyebrows sticky? Why is my just when I blink, I was like, it's sticky. I had to go wipe my face off to get the sweat off my eyebrows. That's a humid place, brother.
I made one trip to Baton
Rouge. Place. Yeah, it's definitely not the place to take a jog in the middle of the day. That's just it's not that type of place.
I made one trip to Baton Rouge, and I was at Fort Polk a long time ago, and yeah, it's pretty nasty down there, but it's still good. So let's get on with today's show, and today's show is about how much do we reveal during dating, when we're dating. Now, I didn't have a big I wasn't too keen on this topic, all right, but then I got talked into it because it does make sense, because we are living in a different times these days where people are getting married later in life, for reasons personal to their own, whether it's school, whether it's education, whether it's finances, whether it's beliefs or whatnot. But people are coming to the table or coming together as a couple with a lot more life experience under their belt, okay? Which means they have a lot more financial experience under their belt, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. And I wanted to know from the fellas, okay, is it copacetic, all right, to discuss with your boo, with your mate, finances, where you're coming from or whether they're coming from? Because again, coming from, how many people do we know that were raised in a family where, the subject that we don't talk about was money, religion or sex, right? And so that spread over into dating. So I want to know from y'all, is it cool to discuss or talk about your finances when you're dating?
Well, for me, I just say, man, this is hard for an old dog like me because
I feel you.
I'm not in this dating world. I got friends right now, man, that are telling me about this whole social media game and texting game that they're doing out here right now. There's rules to that. So I'm like, dude, when I was dating, none of this stuff existed. So I spoke what I felt, and that was that. But as far as these finances go, when you're first dating, you should be careful because a man always wants to know, does a woman like me for me? Now, if you broke, it ain't really nothing to be careful about. But if you got some ends, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's here. Let me tell you, I live in Atlanta, bro. And that has always been a huge topic of conversation. The woman wants to know how much you got. And
why?
The man is always trying to figure out.
Why? Well,
I guess for my opinion, brother, going back to how I ended the conversation last week, we just been out of our roles. And so a woman has been a lot of women are accepting men's roles now, but they don't want to accept men's roles. They want a man to accept his role. So they want to be comfortable. Like literally the first thing they're worried about is, can I live with this guy? Will I be comfortable? Am I going to have to take care of him? So that is a true, sincere, and genuine concern. That is a sincere worry. And
Okay,
so
I agree.
we just want to be like, does she like me for me? I want her to feel comfortable that I could take care of her, but is that the only requirement? Is she just like, hey, this dude could take care of me, that's fine. That's all I need. I'll deal without all that other crap later. So, we just trying to figure it out.
So let me ask you then. So should this question be asked before you move in or after you move in or what?
Definitely.
Yes,
Yes to what?
definitely be asked before you
Before?
move in with each other.
So if you're feeling the guy, okay, and whether the guy, okay, just because you asked before and he don't give you the right answer, it don't mean you ain't gonna move in, right? That's what you say.
I don't know, but I just know that when I had an ex-boyfriend move in with me, it was basically upon like what he was going through financially to get to where I was. So I made sure that I was okay because I listened to my father and my mom. So I made sure that Tanisha was taken care of. Now, mind you, whatever was going on in their lives, this is every single ex-boyfriend. I never moved in with a man. A man's always moved in with me.
Damn,
See what I'm saying?
Her theme song is "What's Love Got to Do with It." What's love but a second-hand emotion? What's in your bank account? That's your theme song, right?
It's definitely. I mean, especially if you're gonna be serious with your partner. Oh yeah, you definitely should ask those questions. And I mean, of course, like you said, to piggyback, like you definitely don't want to come out the gate like, so you just kind of just ease it, chill. And if you feel like y'all gonna be serious like that, yes, definitely have to have that conversation.
Now someone said in the comments that you gotta be in love, okay, right? And I'm asking this question because this is a serious topic, because how many people out there either don't have this discussion, or they're afraid to have the discussion, or if they have the discussion, they find out, oh my God, this guy, he's too messed up for me to even deal with, So I don't want to turn it into a finance thing where if you ain't straight money wise,
Right.
you can't be together. I think what should go down is, okay, talk about it, ask about it, but then find out, okay, how you gonna fix it, all right? What's your plan to fix it or change it or make it better? Okay, that's what I think.
So Trevor, let me say this. I said this before. I'm married in April of next year. I'll be married 29 years. So when my wife married me, I was at the bottom. My wife married potential. She wasn't in love. She wasn't in love. She wasn't in love with the current guy. He was. I mean, you know what I'm saying? He was all right, but she was marrying what she saw down the line. We was fresh out of college, so I mean, obviously, there wasn't anything there. She was marrying potential, what she thought she saw. So that's one thing. I think what brothers, one of the dynamics that get kind of confused and everything is that there are brothers with potential that are going places, that want a chance with a quality woman, but aren't being given that chance because they're not there where they are at that moment. And a woman wants a man, a lot of women want a man ready-made, which is fine, but those men that are ready-made, they want something specific out of that woman. And it ends up being a catch-22 for those two people, the one dude with potential, and then the woman that wants a six-figure earner, but doesn't either have the ability or the will to provide what that guy is looking for. So those two people never, ever connect. They never connect. All right, so we got somebody says, Julia,
Yes, definitely.
somebody wants to speak. Try again, where you at, Julia?
Go ahead, Julia.
Hi, everybody. Hey, Trev. How are you?
Hey, Julia, what's going on, girl?
How's it going? Happy New Year.
Can you tell how it's going?
You look amazing as always.
Thank you.
Okay, so this is, wow, what a topic for me to have jumped in on tonight of all nights. So
Awesome.
I'm older than 50. So obviously our
I bet you look wonderful. I can't see you,
Right,
but I'm
right.
sure you look
that's
wonderful.
why I'm
She
covered.
does. She does. She does. I see it. She does.
So, one thing that I would definitely say for the younger guys as well as the younger girls, when you're in your teens, your 20s and your 30s, you're probably not, most of the time you're marrying for love or lust because you're still trying to get yourself together financially. So I would think that, as we get older and we realize that, okay, well, I've spent all these years making myself that much better. For sure, I'm not going to now accept someone into my life who sleeps all day, doesn't get up and work. No, it's not going to happen because I'm not carrying the load for your lazy butt.
That's a
Right.
great point.
Come on. Yeah, I agree.
Oh, your age definitely makes a difference in what you require, if I can put it that way, or what you're looking for when you are looking for a potential spouse. And that goes for both sides. I know that, a lot of people think, well, as the woman, I don't have to be a professional. And maybe, some men really like the idea of having someone who depends on them. It makes them feel better. It makes them feel needed. It makes them feel more important that, okay, I'm the one with all the degrees. I'm the one with the money, and I'm making her look better. And,
Mm.
I mean, we could talk on this for 30 days, but all the different
There's
aspects.
levels.
You
One of the main points I'm hearing, Julia, is that age and experience is a big part of this
Yeah.
question, right?
Sure. Yeah.
Ju-
And,
Ju-
yes.
May I ask you a question?
Yes.
All right, so we're in the middle of a pandemic.
Correct.
I have seen people that have worked hard,
Yes.
done quite well for themselves, and their business has been directly affected by a pandemic. And they're now, they may be 45, 50, 52,
Sure.
and they're now having to restart and reinvent themselves because the pandemic hurt them. They're not sitting at home lazy.
Correct.
They're not whatever. Is that man a viable man? Like if outside of looks are great, he's healthy, he's fit, all of that. He just at this point in his life got hit by the pandemic. His business went out of business, and now he's climbing back up.
Yes.
Is that guy a viable guy that you would date?
Absolutely.
Mm.
Because I think your success is not necessarily always equal to your dollars. It's who you are as a person. So again, if he, unfortunately, and I have seen this where some men they've lost all of their life savings basically because of the pandemic, depending on the type of business. But if they could build it once, they can build it again.
Right.
And that's because of who they are and who they've become.
Got you.
That's a great point because, and then it goes back to what you said, Isaac. Marrying or looking for that potential. And I think again, Julia, great point you made.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah, because we got, when it comes to finances, there's a lot of different moving parts.
Mhm.
Not just where you at right now. Okay, one, how'd you get here? How the economy affecting you? Where you plan to go from here? What's your future plans? Is this what you want to do for a long time, forever, whatnot? Are there other things you want to do? So, it's a case where I really think that when you have the financial discussion early in your relationship, it can tell you a lot about where a person is going to go,
Absolutely.
in life. Because if this person is doing great, I have a friend that made great money in I want to say in mortgages. Okay, great money in mortgages, and he just didn't like the corporate scene and left that and went to become a yachty, a charter yachty. Okay, great guy. The income was down considerably, a lot, and he had a hard time meeting women that were of the higher caliber corporate wives that he used to. used to, because he didn't have that corporate job or that corporate a persona per se, you know. So a lot of people look at your finances and what you're doing now as far to help them know where you're gonna go and how long will you be in this space. So it's a great topic that has to be had, because yeah, you can probably avoid a lot of pitfalls if you have this conversation early in your relationship.
Definitely.
Edward, what you got, sir?
I'm the single guy in the group here, so I'm at the stage where, I mean, I've dated in the past, and finances were a rough subject. It was usually about, can I borrow this, or we don't have enough money for that, right? And the best financial conversation I had with a girl prior to joining the campaign was, hey, I won $2,000 gambling at the casino. Let's go to Biloxi and have a good weekend. Okay, you know, as a man that's made many mistakes growing up, there's a lot of things that, you know, as a man that's out here trying to, you know, or out here beginning to date again and looking for a potential someone, you know, the financial conversation, you know, is a good one to have. Not that you already have to have your life together, but
So,
one that a plan of action is very attractive in
Edward,
a potential partner.
so Edward, what exactly do we reveal then? Okay, it's one thing to say, okay, talk about, but what exactly do we reveal? What exactly do we ask?
Well, I'm the wrong guy to ask the rule book on it, but you know, I feel like it's a case by case basis.
Yeah,
You get to know someone, and you get to see, you know, what's important to them, right? And you get to see what they value, what they believe in, or what they want to do with their lives, and sometimes they reveal things to you before you even have to reveal anything to them, right? And you know, and the conversation just becomes comfortable.
Okay.
Right. So it's like a natural, for me, it's a natural process. It's not, I'm not about to go in here interviewing the chick on date number 3 about, okay, now do you have a 401k here? Okay, do you have life insurance? Do you have, no, I'm not, you know, that's not how it, at least for me, that's not how it goes.
But that's a great point. But I want to know though, what do we reveal? Because it's one thing to say that we must ask. Okay. Well, if we must ask, what do we reveal? You know, do we reveal the fact that we had a BK that was discharged? Okay. Do we reveal the fact that we had a couple of repos on some vehicles? Do we reveal the fact that, you know, I'm paying a hefty alimony or a hefty child support, or, you know, what exactly? Because when someone asks you, you know, to reveal your finances, what do you reveal? Because again, you're being asked that question, and like, okay, I don't want to tell about this, but you know, she asking, but it may affect, you know, if we're together or not. I think what people want to know is they want to know, what's your vision for yourself financially.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I think that's what they want to know.
yeah. If somebody's asking me my picture, you know, I was taught to answer the questions that's asked of me, you know, and even if the question's uncomfortable, you know, if she asks about some uncomfortable, I'm gonna just tell the truth. I mean, my story is one where I've made mistakes. They're visible, but I have worked to get myself out of them. And you know, even if I'm not fully out of them, I've made great progress. So I have nothing to be ashamed of. Right?
And like you said, it's a great way to get to know someone, you know. I mean, because it may come up that, hey, well, how did you get in this financial, you know, crap? You know what? I made too many trips to Biloxi. Okay. That makes it, well, damn, do you gamble? You got a problem gambling? You know, because you're right. You're right. You ask, the answers you give, you'll be like, well, you was up here 2 years ago. What happened? Well, you know what? I bet on black and it came up wrong. You know, and you find stuff out. You should have went on red. Should have been on red. You know.
Anyway. Yeah, and it's better than finding out from you than from somebody else, right? You don't want them to go through your mail or
right.
phone call that they wasn't supposed to get, and then now they come asking you questions that you get home from work like, hey,
why do I see something listen to the law in your envelope? Go ahead, Isaac.
I didn't know. I saw Julia was off of mute. I didn't know if she had another question or a
I'm sorry,
comment.
Julia.
Oh, sorry. No, I just, I was going to add that, so much of that financial conversation really comes up at a certain point in the relationship. If
Yeah.
you're, I would definitely, I mean, I think I've just gotten to the point in my life and who was it? Edward, you're single, I'm single. So I totally get the single side of things, but when I'm dating, I never I never bring it up because I will be watching him. How is he
Mm,
treating me?
mm.
How is
Ooh,
he
you're bringing that fire, boy.
how is he, and I'm not talking about, okay, every date has to be, the four seasons. How is he treating me? How is he talking to me? Is he a gentleman? How is he dressing? How is he, what kind of dates are we going on? Is it always, hey, come on over, I'll cook dinner for you? Well, that usually means I have no money and I and, you know what I mean? It's nice, it's fun in 6 or 8 or 10 months, but the first couple of months, you guys, and I will say, just as a kind of a side note, a lot of men, unfortunately, and I think this is a little bit of a downside to the way men come at dating, they come, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with this, best foot forward, but they forget that
gotta
if you
keep
want this
that
long
foot
term, you
forward.
better put the right foot forward.
Right.
Best foot forward is one thing, but if you're leading with your money, expect that she's going to expect that later on down the
Mhm.
line.
Definitely.
So you
Thank-
can't, you
It's
can't
one
bring
thing
it on
about
and then drop it.
That's
Julia,
why you can never go wrong leading with your swag.
There you go.
right. One thing about a person's, because all on these, all on these dating sites. Okay, I can't stand them, and here's why. Not saying here's why. Because the people are buying an image.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because you're gonna put your best picture up there.
Yep.
Okay.
Or somebody else's.
Lighting, you're gonna say all the what's your hobbies? Reading and walking on the beach and eating sushi and bull crap. Okay.
Right.
Yeah, you're putting up a nice image, okay? And then you can play that image out for maybe 1, 2, or 3 dates, okay? But after that, okay, it's hard to maintain that image.
Yes.
Okay. And it's a great point that you just said, because whatever you lead with, okay, but I hope you got a long rope because you're gonna want more of that stuff later.
Right.
Yeah, for sure.
So I got a question for Elwood, the young single brother. I'm gonna pick at you, brother. I love you, man. I love your spirit, man. So anybody that's got an infectious smile, man, you know what I'm saying? I love to pick at them and make them smile. So the one thing I wanted to ask you, brother. So, and first of all, Julia, great point. And as a single man, Julia was dropping knowledge. She was dropping. I mean, like, listen,
Very
what
good.
you lead with, you better keep leading with that. You know what I'm saying? You better make sure you got enough of that rope. So Julia was certainly, and that goes for both sides. If a woman is leading with certain things, if she just knows how to cook 5 dishes, but she's cooking all the time for them, she better learn how to cook 15, 20 dishes, because that's what you got to lead with. But Edward, my question to you. So I used to, when I first moved here to Atlanta, I was already married, but I worked. I had 2 jobs. I had a regular day job as an accountant, and
You smart.
I would and I would work at night loading UPS planes. And all the brothers that worked at the UPS with me were in college or getting their master's degrees. And so we would always talk, and they would always ask me, when I was working, I was with 28, 29. So they was calling me pops simply because I had been married by that time 6 years. So they would ask me all these questions, and they would go, man, whenever I go out, the first date, I feel like I'm on an interview, and it's nothing but financial questions. And so they never wanted to go on the second or the third or the fourth date. And one guy told me, so, and Julia, I want to tell you some game here from these guys. These guys, and I'm not assuming you do this, Julia. As a single person, I just want you to hear what these dudes think. This guy told me, he said, man, I already got a job. He said, when I graduate, I've already got a job lined up. I'm working here, obviously, to pay my bills, but I'm going to be making 6 figures. When I get done, I'm going to dress the part, look the part, have my whole car, all of that. And all of these girls that would not talk to me, I'm going to go find them. And I'm going to play with them because they didn't see in me what, and it really didn't even matter. And I would go, hey, bro, listen, just go find somebody new. You know, don't go back, and that's bringing bad karma. Da, da, da. These sisters are obviously shallow. Blah 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 blah. And he was like, no. And then it would go so far as to say, I'm gonna do this with whoever it is until I get tired.
What?
And until I get tired. The last thing I tell you, I had a coworker that got a large inheritance from the death of one of his family members, several $100,000. This brother would meet a girl. He would take out the dates. His whole thing would last for 2 weeks. He would meet him, wine him and dine him for a week. The following week, he still wine him and dine him, say, hey, look, I got tickets to Vegas, or I got tickets to LA. I got tickets to whatever. You want to go? Yes. They go on the trip. He makes love, has sex, whatever. And then he starts on his next conquest the next time around. And his whole thing was, these women, if I live in Atlanta, these women are looking for money. I'm going to flash a few thousand because I got a few thousand. He did this for 4 or 5 years, almost till his money ran out. And he was ready to, do something else with his money. But basically, he just was going every 2 weeks. He was just going through a different woman because women were coming after him for money. So it's a catch-22 for everybody. And I don't condone that at all. What I'm saying is, it's really got to be, for both parties, it's got to be a mix of wanting to know whether obviously you need to have the satisfaction of knowing that this guy can take care of himself and take care of you, and he not be a financial burden, but you certainly need to know his character ahead of time. And it's a lot of guys out there. This is like, I got money now and I'm going crazy until I get tired. And I'm 50 and I know dudes right now that still like, I ain't tired yet.
They must ain't saying thin line between love and hate.
Must not. I don't
Playing
know.
with these women, boy, they crazy.
But
Yeah,
here's
it
the
hurts
thing,
you.
Isaac,
Revenge.
it's not just having the conversation, okay? Right? Because yes, you have people that will ask you about your job and how much you make and what do you buy. Those aren't the questions I'm talking about. It's the type of questions that's being asked, okay? Because the type of questions that's being asked can let the man know the kind of female or female that he's dealing with. Okay, if she's asking questions to know how much money you got, right, and how you make it, be a little weary. But if she's asking you, all right, what's your plans, what's your goals, what's your vision for your future financially, different question, different female. Okay, right. Different female. Right. All right. So I wouldn't see Julia asking nobody about their finances just to know what's going on. I think she wants to know where the man's head's at. Okay.
I agree. Just from the little conversation we've had with Julia, I certainly agree with that. I just want to and not just for Julia, I should have just said for all females that are listening to this call.
Bruh, she was in one of my class, so you know what kind of female she is.
Oh, okay. There we go. There we go. I just wanted people to know it's dudes out there. I'm 50 and it's dudes saying I'm still getting revenge for being looked over from 20 years ago. And I'm like, you got to grow. They don't have no children.
They need therapy, man.
It's just pitiful.
They just need to go talk to somebody.
They is tripping.
So I want to hear from some of our other guests that are on tonight. You know, what you take on this topic. You know, don't be out there quiet. Just turn your microphones on and say something, or put it in the chat box.
I'm gonna look at the chat box, see if we got some questions.
So, what do you think? What kind of questions do you think can be asked that are relevant and vibrant questions that could lead to understanding that person's character as far as money goes, as far as the future goes? What question do you think should be asked?
Well, from a, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Tanisha. Go ahead, T-Money.
I was gonna say like a question you can sit there and ask. And this might just be me. I'm not really superficial like that. I know a lot of that's a lot another big issue when it comes to men probably being hatred like or being um conniving the way they are because they're going back and they're trying to give it the females who turn them down. But like let's just think about like if it was something about them or if they ask the right questions. Like there are different questions to ask a man to sit there and figure out what his financial future is going to be. Now,
Which
mind
one?
you, there's
Give me
also
one.
questions to ask females that you want to know what their financial future is going to sit there and be. There's a lot of females that are doing it dirty just the same way men are doing it dirty. Like there's females out here who pay more for eyelashes, nails done, and hair done and don't realize they have nothing to sit there and give to a guy. So I actually went on a date and I asked the guy if he died tomorrow, can you pay for his funeral?
Ooh, that's a good question.
You got straight to it.
Well, you know,
Was that the first
we
date?
didn't talk after that, but like at the same time, though, like I'm not ashamed about it because I know what I got in place. I know I got for myself, but I gotta make sure you're on the same level because I'm not sitting there trying to like take care of all your stuff either. If something happens to you, we got like let's just say we actually end up vibing, and next thing you know, like we decide to get hitched and all this extra stuff. We didn't have these conversations. Those conversations is what comes up in most marriages that cause financial friction. So
Right.
I have
You
to ask them that.
Tanisha, that's a great question to ask someone. You know, if you die tomorrow, who keep pay for your wet or your burial, because you know that lets you know their mindset too, as far as okay, do you think ahead,
Right.
or you want those people that say, you know, I'll deal with it when I get there, you know, because if you happen to meet someone that says, yes, I got an Everest package, or yes, I got I talked to someone from Seeing Life or whatever. Okay, so I'm straight there. Oh, you know what? What else you got in place? What else is going on? Okay, so it's a great question to ask because if someone in their 30s, 40s, whatever, have that already taken place or are already taken care of, chances are there may be more things out there that he's taking care of, and that could be a good potential right there. You know, so great question, Tanisha. I mean, I think I never thought about that, but it's a great question to ask. Great question to ask.
Tanisha also asked the question, says, what can Black men and women do better at working together towards building a firm and balanced financial freedom for their future success? So this is assuming, this question, I'm assuming, assumes that you've already decided that you guys are vibing, you like each other, and you decided to move forward and at least take some steps moving forward. That being said, you need to have that. I don't know if I would have asked that on the first date, but that certainly is a question to ask because that certainly shows that you are forward thinking, that you're a forward thinking person, that you're planning for the future. You know, maybe, you know, some of the questions that you should be talking about once you decide that you're serious is, hey, what are your business goals? Like, I mean, are we going to have some diversification of income? Are we going to have what retirement plans do you have already? I mean, do you have, are you saving towards, you know, if you do have businesses of aspirations of owning a business, have you started saving towards that? Have you looked at instruments to increase that? You know, like an IUL. You know, if 5 people get together and put some money on an IUL, that compound interest can grow. You know, that's $500, $100 for 5 people, and an IUL grows much quicker than just 5 people putting $100 in a bank in a checking account or a savings account. So that could be an instrument that you are using to try to get people to grow. Coming to talk to somebody like us, you know, financial advisors, say, hey, listen, I've got this, he's got that. What can we do together going forward? So, I mean, I think there's a lot of different things that you can do to try to build together.
Yeah,
but,
and yes, and one thing also is get that ego out of the way too, you know, because a lot of guys, we love to talk about things after we have them.
right.
You know, because it's like, you know, let's talk about that later when I get my raise, or let's talk about that later when I get this new job. You know, no, let's talk about it now. right? And so ego, I think, has to be a thing that has to be displaced. Just let go of the ego a little bit, okay? And let's talk about this because it's important not to just to us. It's important to our children potentially. So, I think trust is a big factor in discussing that. And also, having the same vision, right? And getting with someone that has ambition. I know someone that left their child's father because they had no ambition. Had a wonderful child. The woman was very, very, very ambitious. She was young, had the child young. He was a little bit older, okay, and but she had ambition, right? And he didn't. He was okay with I got you in the right department that you want, okay? I got the job, right? You're good there with money, child's here, leave me alone. But she wanted more, So I think your goals have to also be congruent, and the person that you're with has to have that ambition, that ambitious spirit as well to have better and to have more than what they have now. So I think after having this talk for the last half an hour, I can see where having a talk like this when you're dating can go a long way with if you continue to date or not. Because
Right.
because the way a person treats their finances, okay, speaks a lot about them and their character. Not saying that just because you're broke don't mean you got a bad character. No, you can all be broke, right? But what are you doing to fix it? What's your goal to fix it? What's your plan to get better? So this when you look at someone's finances and how they treat it or how they treat um bettering it, will let you know a lot about them as an individual if they even vibe with you on a long-term basis.
So Trevor, we got a new question. It says, do you have other people slash kids, parents, etc., that are financially dependent on you? And what are your plans to manage that?
Keep on, man. Keep on paying.
So that's a
Great
great
question, though.
question. So yeah, I mean, man, thank you, Lionel. So if you're dating
Well, let's
somebody,
hold on now. First, let's find out. Now, he says dependent upon you.
right,
Okay. I'm going to assume they can't earn income on their own.
right,
Right. Okay. And if that's the case, then managing it, it goes by a case. First of all, how much do you have? Okay. What are you working with? And what exactly do they need? All right. And are you being subsidized in that dependency? Kids, parents, they're different. It's like, okay, they're automatic. I'll do whatever I gotta do for my kids. All right. And parents too. So, it's a question of if a person is able to do on their own, but choose not to, that's a big thing for me. Okay.
right.
And if the kids are, like for example, kids, as long as my daughter's in college, okay, and I pay for damn near everything, okay, but my daughter, I know that I do that because I taught her well about money, okay, and even though I pay for everything, she still comes to me, okay, and gives me money for the phone bill or whatever, okay, to toss on the insurance and whatnot. All right. So I manage that for my daughter because I see potential in her in being responsible. And she wants a big life and she wants to make a lot of money. Now my son, completely different. Okay. Completely different. Okay. My son, I make him earn it. He has to go out there and he bought his own car, 2 weeks ago. Right now, he gets his own insurance. So it depends on that person's mentality. Okay, just because you're my kid doesn't mean I'm gonna give you what I have, what I earned, what I worked hard for. Okay, it depends on what you show me as a person responsible how much I would do for you.
So,
So that's
so
what it does for me.
right, but what I guess as far as how it relates to dating, I guess, and Lionel, I see that you own, brother. Please clarify, because I want to make sure I'm understanding your question. You're saying that question in, like, for instance, if a woman is asking a man, hey, do you have other children, or you taking care of a mama and dad, or vice versa, you as a man saying, hey, how many children do you have, and are you taking care of elderly parents? Is that what I'm getting from you, brother?
Yes, Isaac, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
It's kind of giving those open-ended questions so you can see what other factors are straining on someone's financial situation. And, you know, they could be just started child support, or they could be about to finish child support because the child is 18 and parents are elderly and retired, and they got medical bills that they're providing for them. So it kind of also shows you their financial responsibility and where they're at as well.
Man, you
Great
just
question.
opened my eyes, Lionel.
Yeah, I think, man, Lionel, great question, bro. I think a lot of men are scared to even answer that question because as soon as they say, I'm taking care of this and that, okay, all the woman may see is what's not coming in the house.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
but
All right, Tanisha's mouthing. Tanisha is angry. I see you, Tanisha.
I'm just thinking.
I see what you're saying.
If you're talking to somebody and they say, yeah, I'm taking care of mommy, daddy, you know, and 2 kids, and like, well, how much? A lot. Well, damn, you know. I mean, that may be a question that
That's a lot to say. Yeah.
Let me,
And when you dating,
go ahead.
the partner, she need to be made aware of that though. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she's being aware right now.
Right now, that's what I'm saying. Because if you got all of that going on, I mean, she gonna know why you ain't, you know what I'm saying, when you come, you ain't got money for that or whatever, you know what I'm saying? At least she know. If she, you know what I'm saying?
Again, it goes back to that potential, you know, and what are you doing to either maintain it, or what are you doing so it doesn't affect our finances? Because that's your mama. that's your kid. Okay, all right. I mean, I like you a lot, but damn it, I don't want to get involved with you and get too much. You know what I'm saying? So I think a question like that being asked to a person like that, that person better have it on lock. That's all I'm saying.
Tanisha, what you got to say?
No, I agree with Trevor on that because I mean, there's a lot of things that a lot of men, like, again, we go back to the same thing. When you're dating, there's certain questions you just sit there and ask. Regardless if you pass the 3rd date, the 4th date, if you guys are feeling each other and it's a good feeling, a good vibe, the thing about it is you're gonna have to figure out what's gonna happen in the future. Like we have to start thinking like, okay, the next 5 years, next 10 years, what's gonna happen? Regardless if he's taking care of mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, whatever.
Yeah.
If you have a plan, then I can't be mad about it. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, you take care of business. Like you take care of fam. Like, and the thing about it is like one thing when it comes to, especially in the Black community, like taking care of family shouldn't be it's not a hassle. It's not like a burden. It should be more so like, how can we sit there and do this together? Because at the same time, if your mama or dad or passes away, your brother passed away, whatever happens, how can I be there for you to support? Because it's going to be one way or the other. Like that's when it comes down to like, you know, correct estate planning. We haven't gotten to that part yet. But again, those are questions that come into my head when it comes to dating, because I'm not trying to have no broke Joe sitting here talking about I'm going to play my Xbox for about 12 hours. And I'm looking at you like, are you for real? Like, I'm not going to just go to work every single day while you over here talking about like, yeah, I'm taking care of my mom. And I'm like, no, you're not. You didn't make her no dinner. You didn't make her you didn't take her out to groceries, nothing like that. But this is what's happening. Like, these are things that's really actually happening in our community. So like, I'm actually happy that we're having this discussion, and I appreciate Lionel for bringing it all up, because there are some men out there that are actually taking care of their moms or their dads because long-term care wasn't in the picture. There's actual there's actual brothers out there who are like, I got 2 things to child support. I'm working on it. And yet there's females like, well, you're not paying that much attention to me. And you're like, what? Like,
and let me tell you something. A lot of females these days, whoever gets paid first in their eyes, they priority.
Tanisha not liking it. Hey, so
It's true. You know it's true.
let
You
me,
know it's true.
I got friends like that, but I'm gonna keep quiet because I got some friends.
Okay.
So
Listen,
I get it. I get it.
I want to ask Brittany. Brittany's another young Black woman on. Brittany, is that a deal breaker for you? I see you unmuted. We can't hear you though.
Crickets.
Can you hear me now?
I hear
Yeah,
you
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah.
I would say so.
That's a deal breaker if somebody's got a couple of children or taking care of an elderly parent.
That's very difficult. Honestly, I would say
Be real,
it's all
Brittany.
about
Be
balance.
real.
It's
Be
about
real.
balance. It's about balance. That's really all it is. It can't be too much. I wouldn't want it all on my side and not all on his family side either, you know. But if he can balance it out, then I could probably roll with it. But if he expects me to carry it, you know, with him all the way, that depends too. So that depends.
So that's a huge red flag. Like you gotta think about it a lot.
Wow.
Yes. Yes.
Wow. That's crazy.
No,
Wow.
I appreciate the
didn't know that.
realness.
Wow.
No, I appreciate the realness.
Look at
What did Edward do? I
Edward
missed
said,
it.
okay.
Edward,
I mean, yeah, you can't be mad with that. It is what people at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you decide, right? Look, I'm gonna go to the moment of truth. You decide how big you want to build your business. Okay, so you decide what you want to put up with, right? What you want to deal with as a
And she
person.
said it. Yeah.
So,
She's like, nah,
hey,
man, I ain't feeling that. You know, I'm just and that's ain't nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
no, that's nothing.
Everybody
Nothing
has
wrong.
their preferences, you know.
Nothing wrong with that at
there
all.
you go.
Just be upfront with it.
Yeah.
Just be upfront with it though. Just be upfront with it. When everything's come like, because everything in the dark comes to light. So if you just be upfront with it, like, I'm not really sure if I really want you to take care of your mom and I'm just not comfortable with that, then that's what you just have to sit there and deal with. She may not be the one. He may not be the one.
Right. Now, Tanisha, you were saying something about if you're feeling each other. So here's where we get into
There you
trouble.
go. I'm feeling this dude now. What's up?
Here's where we get into
Has that
trouble.
happened? Yeah.
Damn,
So-
daddy.
So, all right, so she's checking off all my boxes and just brothers, I'm just gonna talk to you. You didn't met her, bro. She give you goosebumps when you see her.
You're
She
welcome.
touch her, you lose your mind. You know what I'm saying? Y'all talk, you just look at each other in the eyes. You act like you're in high school when you're from what you doing. They think about you. That type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And she's feeling it. She's got the same googly eyes. She ain't thinking. My mind is mush. Your mind is mush. And then y'all get 2 or 3 months down the line, and y'all have been feeling each other and ain't asked the questions.
Now
And-
what?
And that now,
Oh.
what? Because this is where we find ourselves a lot of times. How many times you didn't seen somebody, and I can only relate to college because I got married right out of college.
Yeah, we know you're happy and married. We get it.
But listen.
Look,
Keep rubbing it in. Keep rubbing it in. I'm just messing with you. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I love
But
you.
listen,
Charlene.
I wasn't always happily married. I used to be. Listen, my own mother called me a hoe. So when my own mother can call me that, so that's my own mother called me that.
right.
She was like, you chasing too many women out here, OC. So my point is, I can't. So this didn't have anything to do with money. This had more so to do with crazy, but it can apply to money. So I can tell you when I was chasing girls, I'm just like, oh, she's beautiful, this, that, and the other. She makes me feel a certain way. And then a month later, I'm like, this girl is crazy. How do I escape? Same thing with money. And that happens on both sides. You know, now as opposed to us, you know, we're older, if we're out dating now, hopefully.
I want to hear the answer. I want the answer.
Right.
Brittany and Lisa, you're feeling each other. You forgot to ask a question. You asked it too late. Now what's up?
Now what's up?
Okay, I'm gonna tell you a real life situation. I've been in those situations. I've been in the same situation as twice. All right, twice. All right. Let me tell you right now, obviously there's no ring on my finger. Okay. The only ring on my finger is my mom's wedding ring. Right. That's the only thing on my finger. Right. And the thing about it is because I had to take a step back. That was my fault. I wasn't asking all the right questions. I was the one sitting there thinking, oh, he loves me. Maybe I can sit there and do it. Or, he doesn't have this or he doesn't have that going on. I got to figure out a plan for it. Right. And that was my fault because I was sitting here determined to sit there and not become the woman of his dreams, but the woman that I know for a fact that I am allowed to step up to be because my mother didn't raise no fool. That's what happened. So I was like, okay, I could do it. It's not a problem. But in the end, the red flags that my mom and my father told me about, I realized. So it was those questions, like the questions I had to actually ask financially, or even when I had to ask when we were feeling each other and spend 3 months later, y'all done Netflix and chill, y'all done went to Six Flags, y'all done went to whatever. Is it right? Sometimes it's really just not. Sometimes it's just like we enjoy each other's company and we're just not where we should be to sit there and build an empire together. We can sit there and watch it, we just can't build it.
Yeah.
Brittany?
Yeah, same. I'm actually more, on habits because it happened to me as well. So really, I just, pay attention, of course, to the habits. But for myself, I would say, I forgot where I was going with that. I completely,
You had a point. You were going there.
Oh my gosh, it was right there. I don't know how to do
You
You
ain't even
just did what every woman does in
Yeah,
every
you're not supposed
situation.
to do it,
It's
me in
okay.
trouble.
You're like, I don't know.
No, I missed it.
It's all good.
She is like,
Before-
look,
before
look,
I-
my bad.
I got married young.
I thought I saw something, but I did my bad. I gotta go.
I've read books now. Of course, I don't make those mistakes, but now I've read books. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Loving in the Grown Zone or, Intellectual Foreplay. I know now to ask certain questions certain ways up front, so I don't make those mistakes. So yes, I've been there, done that. And again, I don't have a ring on my finger either. So I learned from that. But again, guys will tell you whatever. You really just got to watch their actions. That's the main thing. I just watch actions. I ask the right questions in a certain way. And that's how I get through that now. So.
Right, but Brittany, there's also things that men have to sit there and ask questions when it comes to asking the female. Like you guys sit there and really like ask females. Like, I mean, let's just be real. Like, it's 2020. I don't think most females are even real anymore. Like half of them like want to sit there and pretend like they're real.
Right.
And they don't have their stuff together, but they want the man to have their like everything together. While like there's females out there who are working their butts off to get everything together, right? And there's the one dude who's just dogging the hell out of them. So like
Yeah.
it's a two-way street.
Yeah,
So
that's
again, you
crazy.
just gotta be able to ask certain questions and be able to be comfortable with it, and just be comfortable with who you know, like who you are, and be okay with that, because that person's gonna have to accept you for who you are. You want longevity. Like our great grandparents were together for like how many years? They done went through, done like hunted squirrels together. They done talked about a whole bunch of like, a whole bunch of Ku Klux Klans, but they couldn't stand in the town, whatever it was, right? But they still stayed together regardless of whatever happened. So I feel like that's not happening nowadays because no one wants to be 100% with each other. No one wants to sit there and tell like, hey, I got like a fake butt. Well, how'd you pay
Not
for
at
that?
10 times. No.
How did you finance that?
That's the next question.
I was saying, like, but like that's if I was doing
finance that.
like, how'd you finance that? Because I mean, it's not like it's gonna come free. But, say like you had to work for something. And if you wanted a fake butt, that's what you wanted. Okay, cool. But I know you can work for something bigger and better. But are you willing to sit there and do that? And if she can sit there and say yes, then all right, you either you take the fake booty, you keep rolling, or you sit there like, hey man, I'm gonna have to go somewhere else.
It's safe to say this is a very, very important topic. Julia was right. You hit it on the head, girl. I didn't think it would be this hot, but it definitely is.
For sure.
Because obviously there are these questions are running through your minds, our people's minds, but it's not being asked for whatever reason. And sometimes, again, it's opportunity. It's a lot of things. But I do know there are factors in with these questions. Obviously, age is probably the first factor because a lot of older people probably wouldn't discuss this topic like that when they're dating. Obviously your surroundings, your age, your surroundings, how you grew up, your experience in life. Okay, did you get burnt by someone that couldn't take care of you or couldn't take care of themselves? So a lot of it is your age, your experiences, your environment. Okay. And what you want personally out of your life. So it's definitely, I mean, I wish I had a talk like this 20 something years ago. You know, choices would have been different, you know, but here I am. So out there in Facebook world, you know, like I said last week, have these tough talks. And this one here, I think is one of the best because it does reveal a lot about a person's character and their work ethic and
Yeah, yeah.
all that. Yes, Isaac, I see you mouthing.
Yeah, man. Trevor, one thing I want to say, I'm gonna leave it at the end because as we're approaching the end. But one thing I want to say, and it's probably gonna irritate people. But the question that I was asking about when we're feeling each other and what have you, if I had to do it today, and I'm just gonna keep it 100 on here, as a young folks, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Dang, I sound just like my dad when I said that. Was young folks say I'm gonna keep it a buck. Anyway, if I had to do it today, first thing I would ask, I would want to, and this is just me, I want to see your picture from birth. Like, I want to make sure, I want to see your kindergarten picture right off the top. That's number one.
Right.
Number two, because I don't want to get blinded from asking the question, I would probably refrain from sex for a while. That would not be something that I would engage in initially, because guys, think about it. If women, you know, we put our best foot forward money-wise. Women a lot of time know that men like sex, so they put their best foot forward sex-wise. I don't need nobody to blind me, so I'm just like she don't have good credit. She got 5 babies from 5 different baby daddies. She's got all this type of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't need to be blinded. I need to be able to ask the tough questions, and I would advise women to do the same thing. Don't engage in sex until you ask some serious questions, because if a brother knows what he's doing, then you not gonna want to, you know, if you've been in a drought, you're not gonna want to ask them questions neither. You be like, man, listen, it's been a year, and now I'm getting, you know.
Can I interject really quickly?
So please, Julia, please.
So well, Tanisha, I have to go back to her point where she said, you know, her parents taught her about these red flags, and that's fabulous because sometimes it takes us, you know, a sledgehammer over the head to finally see and acknowledge the red flags when you do see them. And I totally agree, Isaac, and I'll give you a very, very quick example. I met a guy, this was several years ago, met a guy. He was very charming. He was very handsome. He had a couple of cars, a motorcycle. He had all the like fun things that I like to do and blah, blah, blah. Very long story short, we started spending some time together, and I just, you know, I just very much agree with Isaac in saying, you know, do not go down the physical road for several months if you can possibly avoid it, because that completely blinds you and blurs your vision. Always, 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 always. I don't care how gorgeous and hot and wonderful they are. It will blur your vision and it will mess you up every time. But anyway, long story short, we started spending a lot of time together, and, you know, it was kind of interesting because we lived very close together and close by each other. So I didn't mind that, you know, we would watch TV, you know, we had our favorite shows, but we were out all the time on the motorcycle. It was in summer. Anyway, several months, I'd say probably 4 or 5 months went by, and I kept just saying, I just need a little more time to just find out a little bit more. Well, without me ever even opening my mouth, he said, basically that he's a spendthrift. And I was like, ding, 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 ding. There's the big one. That's a big red flag right there, because he doesn't manage his money well, of course. And then, you know, just like one thing after another. So about the 7th month, and really it just had turned into a really nice friendship. Still nothing physical was going on. And finally, the real him showed up. And I was like, okay, there you go. It took 7 months to find out who he really was, but now I see him. And thank God, we're still friends, but it made me it just gave me such a leg up in being able to say, okay, I don't have to hate him. I don't have to argue with him. I don't have to, it doesn't have to turn into something ugly, but it just made me go, okay, I have put all of my ducks in a row and there's a few ducks missing. and now I know that this is not the kind of guy that I want. Who he was, we had fun, we laughed a lot, but that's just not enough. And it could have turned into something physical, but I was like, no, I'm not going there until I know who I'm dealing with. And thank God I waited and didn't get myself into that emotional turmoil.
Right.
Well, well, there you go.
Right.
I guess that's a big thing right there, because again, yes, we do find out later in a relationship that, this person doesn't handle money well. They buy this all the time, they buy that all the time, and they wonder why they're in a position that they're in. And sometimes if you've already gotten physical, it's too late, because now you're vested now, and you've made decisions together, and now you learn that, oh my God, you can't handle money right. So yeah, that's a great point, Julia. You're bringing it good. This was your night. You know what? The reason why you hopped on, girl, because a lot of women are listening to you right now, and they're like, thank you for pointing it out, because yes.
Amen. You don't want those soul ties with somebody that you're not eventually going to marry.
Come on now.
Yeah, for the young, that's hard to say for the young group.
Yeah, it is.
They off the chain.
Yeah, it is. It's too much sexting and texting and all this crazy that goes on, and they don't realize what they're really sowing seeds into something horrible that will come up. There's a harvest that comes from sowing seeds like that, and it's not pretty.
Right. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate that. I certainly, like I said, I've been married. I know Tanisha don't want me to mention. All right, I'm sorry. So I'm out the game. I'm out the game.
We love you.
I appreciate.
We get it. Like, we get it.
I'm just saying, literally, for men, I know that's a problem. We've kind of set this Fathers and Finance up as a barbershop conversation. And I know Trevor's had it. I know Marcus had it. I'm sure Edward has had it. How many times have you talked to a guy that is constantly complaining about a woman, constantly complaining about, man, she drives me crazy, da-da-da-da-da. And then you ask the question, why won't you leave? And then he looks at you and then you go, bam, he's whipped and he don't want to go nowhere else. That's it. I'm being very truthful. And he's caught there. She spends all his money. I can't tell you how many times, bro, I work hard and literally next thing I know, my money's gone. I'm buying shoes, I'm buying this, that, and the other, da-da-da-da-da. And you just ask, bro, y'all ain't married, why don't you leave? And then they look at you sheepishly and they've already given in and they're whipped and they don't want to go anywhere. And in college, I've been in that situation, but I've seen people in the barbershop where they've been in that situation. And I'm like, brother, break free and go home, take care of yourself, and then find somebody like you're supposed to find. Kim Williams to everyone said, if I had to ask the question today, I would ask, what did 2020 teach you? Once the question is answered, ask them, what are you going to do moving forward? Finding that headspace one is in is very important. Exactly. 2020 should have all taught us something. Yep. And if you haven't decided to move differently after 2020, then yeah, maybe you need to see somebody else.
If 2020 did not bring the hustle out of you, it ain't in you.
Yeah.
So, all right, guys.
And ask questions. Don't be afraid to ask questions. We know we can't all have marriages like Isaac and have 45-year marriages. We understand that. Okay, we get that. My parents are married for 36 years before my mom passed away. We get it. Okay, but just ask questions. So it's not okay. It's okay to ask questions. Again.
Yeah.
All right.
2020 should realize that. That's what everybody should realize. You could ask a question and it could be answered.
So next Tuesday is gonna be, what date is that? It's obviously gonna be the New Year, right?
That's gonna be the 5th.
The 5th. Yeah, the 5th. So yeah, the 5th. FIF. All right.
1, 2, 3, 4.
All right. right, great topic tonight, guys. Again, if you got any questions to us, reach out to us. We'll definitely reach back out to you. Until next time, my name is Trevor. We got Isaac, we got Marcus. Where'd he go? Is he gone? Is he
No,
gone?
he's there.
Still
Okay,
here.
there you go, Edward. All right. Thanks for showing up and showing out. Until next week, guys. Okay.
Happy New Year. See you next year.
Thanks.
See you
Happy New Year's, everyone.
New
See you
Year.
soon.
Yes.